What is going on, guys? It's your boy here again, Dean, and I'm finally getting to review the top 4 decks from the 4 different regionals that happened over the weekend. That's right, we had 4 big ones. Not only that, but thanks to these new tournament deck distribution, we're going to be able to see also the spread to see, you know, what people were bringing and then what came out on top. A lot of information coming forward before Philadelphia, which I'm getting ready for, and I've already looked at this a little bit, and let me tell you, there's a lot of Sword, but I'm keeping by my tier list, okay? It doesn't matter what tops. Just doesn't matter. Trust. Until I lose the Sword in bracket, I'm not a believer. But congratulations to everyone who topped. You know, big shout out to all of you guys. Super good job. And with that in mind, let's just get right into it and see these lists and like really what's special about them. First up is Mexico City. We've got 11% Forest, 14% Sword, 14% Rune. Same amount of Sword and Rune. 11% Dragon, 19% Abyss. I think this was like a 77-something man tournament. 14% IMAS, definitely showing up in Force. Same amount for all of these with just still a few more Abyss players. And yeah, Sword came out on top. We got the double encroaching heat. So first up, all Sword decks, you're probably going to be either seeing Gemstaff or Maid Leader. It's their choice. Maid Leader is definitely better than the Gemstaff. The reason being is that you can always curve into the Baleon, going first or second. It's kind of agnostic. Versus the Gemstaff really only works when you're going first. We've got the double Octors package. Not every deck opts for the Octors, but we've got 2 of the Evo as well. This just helps make your trees in the EX area, or like the cards from Baleon, cheaper. Being able to get huge pushes off of the Maisha or the Mistalinas in the EX or something, you know, just giving you like a lot of extra push. Double encroaching heat to be able to give a card like Maisha Storm or maybe a Baleon to be able to get 6 damage in. With his effect to be able to sack 2 trees to pump him, plus pump any card that's Natura plus 2 attack. Other than that, yeah, it's pretty standard. You know, the encroaching heat and the Maisha are definitely the tech options. Most people should be on Octris, and the absence of Leo is the only. I think Leo's kind of mid. But yeah, definitely it's one of the Sword lists, and we're going to be probably seeing a lot of Sword today. So something to keep in mind is that they might be on Maisha, they might be on encroaching heat, and then the Octris is going to assume that they're on until you see that they're not. Next up is Tiburon's Sword. This is, once again, we have to have only one Maid Leader. That's kind of crazy. We don't want too much consistency here. It's taking a spot on the Evo deck. Jesus. 2 Leods. We've got this one's the big one. It like helps in the cool matchup. It helps in a lot of random matchups. 3 Tigers to be able to kill our opponent. Since we're not playing the Maisha package, we need some way to get a little bit of extra damage in. For the Mistalina is probably not going to be enough. And then we have the Fall from Grace, so that we need even more rate. No. Most of the lines that add up to 20 in this deck actually add up to like 22, so the Fall from Grace doesn't really matter. And also it can banish key cards like Mono and Gensetsu to try to win the Abyss matchup, which it was also very popular at a lot of these regionals. Next up is third place, Deivazuki's Abyss. This is standard hard control. The big new benefits that we have are Dublame. On play, we're able to mill, and then on evolve, we're able to ping something for 2. But if we have Necro Charge, we're able to deal 4. And then we also have the Colorful Cook, which can generate a tree, which is like a Wings of Lust, but it heals you instead of deals damage, and then you can cash it in at any point, so you're not like forced to use the tree at any point. You're just able to like put this down on 1, and then later in the game draw into your Israfil, and then discard your Israfil to be able to set up your Death's Breath plays. Triple Kawi, a lot of Kawis in this deck. I think this deck, it gets a little bit better every set, but I still am not the biggest fan of its general gameplay. Now, I'll maintain that forever. But strong showing from it, and it's gonna be around. It's gonna be around. You don't want to play a deck that loses to it. You do want to be aware of it, and you want to respect it. And next up is Latica Forest. I'm excited to see this one. We see a 1/1 split of the Suzuka plus the Evo, a 1 of Cassiopeia, 2 Viridian Magnet. This card's kind of slow in this deck, but you know, you kind of need it in some matchups, so I understand. No Cetus is the big one here, because kind of a staple in the deck. And then other than that, it is, I mean, it's a Latica deck. The thing with all of these tree decks, I don't know if I just said this, is that you have like 35 slots, it feels like, in a lot of them that just have to be the deck. Like, you don't have a lot of flex space. You have like 32 probably, and you just don't have choices, to be honest. And look at that, we had 42 cards, so we could fit in. I mean, probably take the Viridian Magnus out, to be honest. But yeah, 42 cards, right? It's like when you look at this deck for a second, you don't think 42 cards. You don't see like, whoa, man, there's like other than like the 1 of Cassiopeia, 1 of Suzuka. Those look like, hey, you know, I'm trying to get 40, but no. The Natura pack is just so large that we hit 42 cards just without like doing much at all. But yeah, that's the top 4 from Mexico. Congratulations to everyone who topped, and on to the next one. There's a lot of decks to go over this video. Next up, we have Manila, Philippines. Manila, I don't know. What do we got going on here? 9% Forest, 25% Sword, ton of Sword, but 15% Runecraft Believers. I do like that. 6% Dragon, 12% Abyss, and 3% Haven. Nobody believes in Haven. 28% IMAS. This was IMAS Country. Surprised it didn't win. So yeah, sad day for the Idolmaster believers out there. Just not good enough. Can't beat Abyss. Can't beat Mono. 2 Soul Conversions. What is this one? This one has... oh yeah, triple Roll Knight. I like this. Oh, I like the 2 of Roll Knight because... or the 3 of Roll Knight because now we have a lot of cards that generate Necro Charge. I know that we're like the Machina, but cards like... what is it? Ania? Being able to pull cards out of your deck. You know, it's basically like 2 bodies that go into the grave for free. And then we have... I think Nicola Mills 2, and then this Kill Spell Mills 1. So, and then this thing doesn't do anything. But we're playing Abyss. We can generate some grave. We have a couple self-mill cards, basically. And then the Roll Knight might be able to get online, because, of course, we're also playing like a really... look at this, a bunch of 1-drops. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. 11 1-drops, right? So, like, we're going to have the grave loaded up by turns probably like 6, if I had to guess. 5 or 6. And then this Roll Knight is going to be able to, like, pop a card on the board potentially and also hand rip, so you get the double value. And that's when Roll Knight really shines. Until then, he's kind of not the best. But he also doesn't fill up your EX area, which is the problem with some of the Abyss decks that we are going to see later. Where they can put themselves in a... you can make them be in a position to where their mono doesn't work, depending on like the way that they develop their board. Well, this one is not really going to have that problem as much. So yeah, definitely a super solid list all around. Congratulations, Kana UMR. Next up, this is the best deck. It's Kuan. He's here, 2nd place. This list is on 41 cards. We have triple Eleanor, no Penguin Wizard. Eleanor's the new card. 2 mana, 2/2 on play. We're going to be able to discard a spell to draw a card. But more importantly, when we Evo for 1, we're going to be able to get this Splendid Conjury to our EX area. Splendid Conjury is a 2 mana, deal 3 damage up to... divided up to 3 followers. But if we have Eleanor, it's going to be 5 damage, still across 3 followers, to be able to, you know, deal with the really wide Machina Abyss boards is what it's for. And we have Spell Chain 10, which I found in this deck is very difficult. I mean, it doesn't get it much faster than normal Kuan. Even with this, what's one of Sorcery Cache. I've played 3 Sorcery Cache, still don't get it faster. Or fast enough that it really comes up, but the Sorcery Cache can be free. Or sorry, the Splendid Conjury can be free on the Evolve to be able to get the wide board clears for only 3 mana. 2 Shikigami summons, 1 Rhyme Wind. These are like the things that kind of stand out. 2 Demon Callers instead of 3. Concentration, of course, we're playing 1 of each of the 3 drops. And then this thing, Alchemical Lore, deal 4 damage to the board and opponent's board. This is for the Machina matchups or for anything that goes super wide really fast. We're going to be able to deal with it earlier than we could with a Crimson Meteor Storm. Problem is, of course, you only build 1 spell chain on the turn, which is kind of bad. But it's there for those matchups, and who knows? We'd have to ask him if this really came up. Next up is Dip Swordcraft. We're going to see another Swordcraft deck, and that is... what's this one on? 0 Octress, 2 Maid Leaders, 2 Evos. Then we're seeing the Usurping Spineblade, mill your opponent's deck for 1. And then deal up to 5 damage, or 3 at quick timing. I wonder what this was for. Because that doesn't kill Mistalina. That doesn't kill mono. Or it does... kills a non-alpha derived mono, but it does not... I don't even know what that card's for. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what that card beats. I don't know what has 5 health in this meta that you need to kill. That Usurping Spineblade is the one putting in the work. You can see it as a 2 mana deal 3, which is like when you just play Surefire, because like this thing's choosing this over Surefire means that you're here for the scale up to 5, right? And how does it scale up? We're not even playing Octress to go with it. I don't know. I need something in the comments, like where this is good, what this is for. Triple Leod for the anti-aggro, and also just get the guy on the board, help develop the board, ping face, control the board. He does it all. Swift Tigress. This card's okay. It's not great, not bad. It's like okay. And then, of course, you know, the rest of it's the Natura cards. We don't really have room to not play them, so that's where we're at. 4th place. Once again, Sword. This time 3 Maid Leaders, 2 Leod instead of 2 and 3, right? Yeah, 2, 3, 3, 2. And then no Usurping Spineblade. Instead, we're at... what do we have? 2 Swift Tigress, and then we... so we cut a Swift Tigress. These 2 swapped. We cut the Usurping Spineblades and put in 1 Octress, 1 of this IMAS card. It's like 4 mana, 4/4, banish 2 1-drops, destroy a card, burn 2, draw a drop, and you choose 2 of those. And then we got a 1/1 Swift Tigress for 1 Rico. Is this for like the jump scare? Opponent doesn't know what's happening. I mean, Rico's still a good card, and it's like damn near impossible to play around. You never expect it. And it's if you have no followers on board. No other followers. Yeah, it works with amulets. Sick little tech to be able to, you know, jump scare your opponent with a card that not a lot of people are thinking about or playing around. And only 1, so it doesn't come up all the time. Because you want people to know you got the Rico. You just want to win you like 1 or 2 games in the tournament and then never see it again. Next up is Melbourne, Australia. We got 13% Forest, 21% Sword, 15% Runecraft, 14% Dragon, 17% Abyss. I think there's like a 70-something man tournament as well. 13% Haven, 0 Uma. Look at that, no IMAS players. It's like two IMAS players? Maybe 3 IMAS players, maybe? We went up 1.5% here, so yeah, it's like 3 IMAS players. And in first place, we have Dragon. Valdane's the best, but this list is... you play 3 of this. You play 3 of this bird. This list is fine outside of that bird. Bump up the bird. Bump down something else. You're golden. Maybe the Forte. 2 Forte, 3 bird. Boom, you got a deck. Valdane is very powerful. It can play... it doesn't play fast super well, but it can play super slow or like combo-y. If that makes sense. It can do a little bit of both, especially with this Maisha package. Very potent deck. But yeah, definitely 3 bird because the more you ramp on your opponent, the more unstoppable it is. Yeah, congratulations to 427s. Next up is Chapper's Runecraft. Kuon, best deck. This one... 2 Eleanor, 2 Penguin. This is Chain of Calling, right? Chain of Calling to be able to grab the good cards. Or is this Fire Chain? What is this thing? It's Chain of Calling, right? Yeah, okay, Chain of Calling. 3 Splendid Conjurer to go with our 2 Eleanor. I kind of understand. The 3rd Eleanor usually feels pretty damn dead, and it doesn't really advance your spell chain. So, you know. And then we've got the standard Kuon stuff. This card, Fall from Grace, to be able to banish our opponent's card. 3 mana, remove anything. Very cheap for Kuon. It's easier to hold up 3 than it is 4, so we're playing this over Fire Chain is probably the thought. It also banishes, so it stops the mono from coming back, or the Gensetsu from coming back. They'll have another one in hand. It doesn't really matter what you do to someone. They've always got another one. That's the way you're supposed to play this game, at least. We've got the concentration, you know, the 3-drop package. No Demon Caller. No Demon Caller on this list. Very big. Pretty not standard, and I don't really like that part at all. Also, 2 Shikigami summons. I don't know, though. Kuon's the best deck. Doesn't matter how you build it. Best deck. Confirmed. And the Europa U. Nice flex. Next up is Justin Mao's Swordcraft deck. We're seeing in this one, double Octress, double Evo. Oh, you know how I said you see a Maid Leader or Gem Staff in every one? We don't see it here. Oh, wait, no, wait, sorry, wow. I'm literally blind. Gem Staff here. We've got 3 Gem Staffs, no Maid Leaders. I guess it's like, you just want to have cards be live all the time? Or is Gem Staff ever really live? Gem Staff is not a live card, I feel, but, it's definitely more alive than a Maid Leader after you've evolved the only one in your Evo deck. And then it helps your Leods be better. Your Leod, yeah, Leod. The Crescent Blade, yeah. I mean, pretty standard. Not really a lot of extra push in this one, though, because we only got 2 Swift Tigress. And then we have, like, no actual... We have no Maishas. We just have this Octress. Nothing in the Evo deck that's super proactive. Just stuff. This one's, like, super slow. This one's, like, actually really slow. Maybe Sword's broken, but nah, can't be. Couldn't be. Next up is Maru's Havencraft deck. We love Haven. But I am not the biggest fan of this Haven. Of course, we're seeing the Machina. This is like the Lamonia Storm Ward deck where I think we're just playing... We're like half in on it. I'm like almost a fan. Almost a fan. I think we need to cut this card. I'm not 100% certain. And probably this card. This card's probably got to go. If I were to do something with this deck. I put more of, like, this guy in. I put more of the Storm in. I think I'd put more of the Storm in. Because right now, there's, like... Right, we got the Ruby Falcon. We got these aggressive cards. We got the Amethyst Lion. One of Diamond Master. Maybe bump up the Diamond Master. 2 of... We got this, like, really aggressive core. And then we've got a couple cards that just aren't very aggressive at all. But Haven is also insane. So, you know, the core is still there. There's just a couple cards I think I would change. And then we have... We have this thing with no Maisha. That's kind of insane. Not 100% certain about that one. But I think your heart's... I think Maru, I think your heart's in the right place. I think we just change a couple cards. And I think next time we're going to see not a 4, but we're going to see a 1 next to it. That's what I believe. I am still a Havencraft believer. And next up is the last regional. We've got Portugal. Cosme, you know, whatever it is. This one was a really small regional. Look at this, 3.57 to 7.14. That means it's like a 32 man, I think is right. 10% forest, 21% sword, you know, 3% runes. That's like 1 rune player. Dragon is 14%, Abyss is 28%, Haven, you know, we already went over that, and then 14% IMAS. I remember this one was like a little bit smaller. First up is... I can't say any of these usernames, but that's okay. We have a Machina Abyss with the Gensetsu and the Kawi. I like Kawi because he like kind of stalls for a turn while you find better cards. And then the Gensetsu... If you just, like, leave a Fox up, like, if you can deal with everything and like have a way to leave the Fox up, they can never mono Evo, so that's the big weakness about this. You're like, oh, what deck can do that? Well, like, think about Forest, right? Like, Forest, you have, like, a Lily or something, and you're able to, like, bottom deck a Gensetsu, or just deal with the Gensetsu in any way, shape, or form, and then you can, like, deal with the Foxes as they're, like, kind of board locked and just dealing, like, 1 or 2 damage while you set up your actual combo. That's kind of how you beat one like this. That's why I'm not the biggest fan. But Gensetsu does solo some matchups, and it's not like you have to play her. It's just something that can happen. Also, things like Robo-Goblin. He puts, like... This guy puts a card in your EX area, right? Last words. Repair mode into your EX area. Gotta get that out. Gotta get that out before this Gensetsu comes down. This card puts in a thing, but you can crack this whenever. But when you do crack it, of course, it does go in your EX area, and then this thing's gonna... You gotta get that up before you play the Gensetsu. A little bit awkward, depends on what order you do it in. Next up, another Abysscraft deck. What is this one on? Once again, we're seeing mono. How many? This is like 28%? 28%. Seeing mono, we got the Dublame to be able to mill the top card of our deck, get the key pieces into the grave for cards like Nikolai, and then also the mono or the Alpha Drive. And then we've got the triple Gensetsu, single Death Breath. The Death Breath can really only be used in the Gensetsu, so it's like you have 4 Gensetsus in your deck. Or Technolord. Is Technolord good? You guys, I need to know. Is Technolord good? Do you think that Technolord should be a 3 of in your Abyss deck? That's my question for the viewers out there. I wonder. I do wonder. Also, I forgot. This thing, like, kills mono. That's insane. Maybe Abyss is the best deck. Maybe mono sucks. 2 Whispers, that's all you need. You just have it when you need it. 3 wasn't good enough. Next up is Adam S's Swordcraft. Once again, most of the deck is kind of set in stone. Oh, yeah. 3 Trail of Lights. I was about to say 2 Trail of Lights, but no, there's 3. We got the Swift Tigress and the double Octress. Triple Leod. Double Maid Leader. Looks like people are kind of split on these as like a 5 of total, and then split between the 2. And yeah, 1, 3, 1, 3, 3. Yeah. I think... Maybe I'm wrong here. I guess, like, Viridia without the Evo is pretty shit, so I guess you kind of want 3. If I was going to play 2 Octors, I was looking at this Evo deck, I think I'd want, like, 2 Evo? Maybe I'm wrong, though. I don't think it really matters that much. Wonder how much that 3rd Viridia comes up. Anyway, I guess if you... No, if you pay the last words, it goes to your opponent's board, right? So, yeah. You can't even steal this card. But you could steal this card with this card in the mirror, right? And then actually evolve it versus this card not being able to evolve. Just some thoughts. Next up is Spec... I give up. I give up. 41 cards. Okay, and then we've got... What do we have to make this 41? It's so hard to tell. There's just so many cards in this deck. We're on triple Octress. I do like that. Double Evo. If card's good, you want to play 3 of it, right? Encroaching Heat, no way to search it. 1 of Silver Bullet. It is what it is. Maisha plus Spell, definitely very powerful package. 2/2 split. Kind of hard to set up, though, because you got to have the Spell in the grave with the Maisha. I mean, she mills 5, but if you don't set this up early, hopefully you know if it's there and you know if you need it to go in. We got 2 Swift Tigress to get a little bit of chip damage in, of course. What are we missing? We have 41 cards. Oh, no Leod. That's like the big cut. What else? Just no Leod, right? Yeah. And with that, we've reached the end. Lots of sword. Lots and lots of sword. Lots of Abyss. A little bit of Kuon, a Dragon, a Haven. You know, sprinkling of some of the other stuff. Every class was represented. I think that's pretty big to notice. But looking forward to seeing what happens in Philly and then seeing how the meta changes over time. But yeah, let me know what you guys. Okay, probably don't say what you're going to play in Philadelphia. But you know, let me know what you guys are tinkering with if you're not going to Philly. And what do you guys think about the format? Do you think it's a good format? Are you enjoying it? Do you think that this is like what you expected? Is it all sword, all Abyss? Are those the actual best decks? Or do you think that people will be sleeping on Haven and Dragon a little bit? Yeah, just let me know, and see you guys after Philly.